How did you get introduced to pain pills?
My dad was sick and he didn't know what he was doing and I didn't know, but he did know that when he didn't feel good and he took a pill, it made him feel better. And so when I didn't feel good, he said, here, why don't you try one of these?
Wow, okay.
And we just didn't know.
No, absolutely. Wow,
it started
okay.
off innocent, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, okay. This is Alex with livinginthenews.com, and I'm here with Channa, and Channa has gone through a lot in her life. You had some strong addictions, used drugs, and I think that you told me that happened kind of early in your life. Can you share that story with us?
Yeah, so I don't know when I started using hard drugs for the first time. What I do know is the first time I went to rehab, I was 13.
13 years old?
Which is pretty young, yeah.
So you started possibly a year, 2 years before that? Or?
Yeah, and then throughout my teens, I think I was in snitch treatment 3 times. So a lot of using early on in my lifetime, and that just traveled into my adult life. I had children and I tried to put on a front like everything was fine, but I was always using hard drugs.
So when you say using, and you just said hard drugs, what were you using?
It started with pain pills. So I started doing pain pills, and then that was enough. I went to heroin, and then meth, and I've always done cocaine.
How did you get introduced to pain pills?
My dad was sick, and he didn't know what he was doing, and I didn't know, but he did know that when he didn't feel good and he took a pill, it made him feel better. And so when I didn't feel good, he said, here, why don't you try one of these?
Wow, okay.
And we just didn't know.
No, absolutely. Wow,
it started
okay.
off innocent, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, okay. And so from there, you're looking for even a stronger feel good.
Yes.
Okay. And then you said you married through your teenage years. You had you went to rehab 3 times, and now you have children. And go ahead. I interrupted you.
No, you're okay. Yeah, so I have children, and throughout that, I would get sober off of one drug but not another, or I'd stop doing one drug but then need to pick up something else. I had never really truly been sober until 2020. So I had a pretty big event happen in my life that kind of forced me to get sober. The first 2 months I was only going to be sober until I could use again. And then about 2 months I realized I kind of like this. I kind of like not doing drugs all the time and not being worried about it. And from there it was on.
Let's talk about that 2 months for a second, because I know that people that have addictions, there's a disconnect. Mm-hmm. In other words, they're not able to use logic very well.
Yeah.
There's no logic there. It may be there. We think, okay, I'd be a lot better if I didn't, but I can't. That logic just doesn't get into action. So how did you do saying I'm going to do the 2 months, and then all of a sudden that had to be personal strength on your own part.
Yeah, so I did go away. I went to treatment and I left completely my home. I went about 8 hours from home. I took my kids with me. I was so fortunate to go to a Mommy and Me program where I could take my children.
Wonderful.
And like I said, those first 2 months was just, how do I get out of here? How do I finish this? How do I get people off my back? How do I get out of trouble so that I can just do what I want to do? I had such a great support system down there, and I think that's what it all comes back down to, is support. The people that I had surrounded myself with down there held me up and made me realize how much I needed a community.
I want to go back to support in a moment, but first I want to go to, you were healing yourself, but you came back into your environment.
Yeah.
How tough was that?
Yeah, pretty hard. So I came back home about a year in, and I thought I was so solid, and then coming down here I realized, oh, nothing's changed here. All the people who I knew before, all of the things I was doing before, nothing had changed, and I had to put in the effort to find new people, find new things, find new hobbies, to stay away from that old stuff.
Wow. And so that discipline, you're at a center, and fortunately you're able to work with your kids. And what do you think got you there to realize, okay, and you said you felt better, you liked a sober life?
I think I really just have to go back to the support, the people that I had around me, and the stuff that I had left behind at home wasn't there. And so I truly, for the first time, could just take a step back and think about what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And I realized about 2 months in that I wanted to do the things that the people that were supporting me were doing. I wanted to be that for someone. I've had a few key people along the way of my recovery that have been really detrimental to me getting sober, and I knew from early on that I wanted to do what they did.
That just shows a sign of gratitude. You must have been really grateful for them.
I still to this day am.
Wow.
And they know who they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. So you talked about it. I think you talked about it pretty well. But one more time, how important is support? And how because to do it by yourself is hard. I mean, most people almost say doing it by yourself is impossible.
Yeah, and so I think as addicts and people who've lived the lives that we've lived, we kind of get this mentality of we can do it all on our own, or we can do it by ourselves, or we don't need help, or asking for help is like the worst thing you could possibly do. And
that shows a sign of weakness.
Yes.
It shows I can't handle it myself. I need you to help me. None of us like to do that. Very few people like to reach out for help.
I agree. And so being in a space where there was people who had nothing else on the table, nothing to gain from it, but were so willing to support me and help me, that's what it's all about. And I think that's really what got my mindset changed from needing to ask for help or not wanting it, right? Somebody would offer to help and nope, don't need that, nope, don't need that, until it was really, I got to a point where I did need that.
And you realized it.
Yeah.
You realized it. So you work for Lifeways, and you could tell that story, but you work in a kind of in a special place. You work in a drop-in center. It's what we're calling it, right? A drop-in center.
Yeah.
And so tell us how you got here to Lifeways, because you kind of already have, and tell us what the advantage of this drop-in center is, because I think it's spectacular.
Yeah.
What an asset to our community.
Okay, so I have been with Lifeways for 2.5 years. I am a certified recovery mentor. And the journey to getting this drop-in center has not been easy. So we started out on the streets just talking to people, finding people that needed help or wanted help or maybe possibly at some point could want help, and just getting our faces known, where if one day they were ready that they could come see us. And we were in the park playing games and out by the river and out at the flats and whatever we could do. And we still do that. But we didn't have a place to offer people to come in early recovery in our community.
Can I ask you a question about that? How successful were those efforts?
I think they're still successful. We go out every Monday afternoon, and then we try to get out with the community in action on Wednesday mornings. And we use burn funding, so we do track who we're contacting, and I think that the data shows that we're doing a good job.
Wow, okay. I'd like to look into more of that. That's wonderful. And we'd like to work with Community in Action also.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful thing. Okay. And you said then you didn't have a place to go?
No, well, just in our community in general, not just with Lifeways, but we didn't have anywhere for people in early recovery to come together and hang out, talk, get support, learn life skills.
Because most any place you go, it's an office, and it's like you can't just hang out in an office.
Yeah, so we were looking for something more of like a coffee shop vibe, like it felt like you were just walking into your friend's house and could sit down and hang out. And so we finally got that. We bought or I don't know if we bought it, but we have the Shamrock building. We're down here on I think First Street, First Ave, and we're getting it to where we want to be. So we do groups every day. It's open to the community. You don't have to be a Lifeways client. And if you're struggling, come in the door. If you're in early recovery, come in the door. If you know someone and you're struggling with the fact that you know them, come in the door. We're just here to support each other.
So you said something important. You don't have to be with Lifeways or you don't have to be with any kind of program. You can literally just walk in and find support.
Yeah,
I
take
mean,
a class.
no catches.
No catches.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what will they find when they walk in?
Us. We're just hanging out, and we're pretty cool people.
All right, I think you are.
And if they're interested, then we have groups that run. So we're open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10 to 3, and we have groups that run every day from about noon to 2. And those groups are from as simple as budgeting or cooking classes all the way up to like vibe time and doing music and just hanging out.
Well, that sounds fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So I went to an event at one time, and I just saw somebody, and he just started playing the guitar, and people just started gathering around him, and it was just wonderful. And it was, and he seemed like he was an unhoused person. I don't know the circumstance, but so all that kind of stuff's important. And when you get a group, when you get a family, I would say the best way to success is to reach up to somebody, to anybody. I mean, I don't care what level of success you are. If you can see somebody doing something that you wish you could do, reach up or ask questions, and that's kind of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, that's what we try to do. We're really proud of the work that we do.
Wonderful. I'm going to give you a moment just to talk to anybody that you want to talk to.
Okay.
Either about your story or about how they can find or your recovery, just whatever you want to share with people.
Okay.
You share your testament about what's going on.
Hi, Mom. Just kidding. So I really just want to put the word out there to Ontario that we do have this building and we are open to anyone in the community. If you're struggling or you know someone who's struggling, if you want help, maybe you don't want help, maybe you just need to come in and talk to somebody about it, we're here. We're not going to force you to get help or none of that. We truly are just a support.
Wonderful. And that's such a wonderful thing for somebody to have a place so they can just walk in. What are your hours?
So like I said, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we're open from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. to the public. But we are here all week long, just not in this building. You'll catch us out in the community. We're around.
Good. All right. Well, thank you so much for all you're doing. And, you know, I consider people that have overcome the challenges you overcome heroes. You did some amazing things for yourself, for your family, for others that you're reaching out to. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. And thank all of you for watching livinginthenews.com.